Hello and welcome to Bipolar Thoughts. My name is Steven, and today I'm opening up about a subject that affects millions of people but is often cloaked in misunderstanding. Bipolar disorder and the overpowering sense of being overwhelmed. This isn't an interview or a conversation with a guest. It's just me speaking honestly into a microphone, sharing what I've learned and experienced, the struggles, the triumphs, and some concrete resources to help you navigate similar things. For me, when I get overwhelmed, I shut down. I become isolated, cold, distant. I fall into a slight down phase where I just feel like I can't do anything right. I'm a failure to everyone around me. I'm a failure at school. I'm a failure. I'm just a failure. Most times I just have to write it out. But sometimes all it takes is a TV show or something mind numbing just to sort of shut my brain off. One thing that I really like to do when I'm feeling like that is to go for drives. I'll drive around parts of the city that I've never been to and get lost. And I have GPS, so I kind of just say, let the fear take the wheel and steer. And if you got that, you're awesome. I feel like some of these things might also help for ADHD, which I also have. I'm pretty sure they could probably work with anxiety, which I also have. Could They could probably work for all three of them. I think they're just good rules and guidelines of how to cope with certain things. So I'm gonna get a little serious and talk about some things that might help these types of situations. Okay, bipolar isn't just about experiencing highs and lows. It's about living through a cycle that sometimes feels unpredictable, where manic energy can turn into deep, heavy depression without any clear warning signs. There are times when everyday tasks feel insurmountable, and feelings of being overwhelmed can creep in like a tide after a storm. I know many individuals describe moments where their emotions seem to have a life of their own, a vivid surge of creativity, a relentlessly racing thoughts during a manic phase, followed by periods of fatigue and despair, where the weight of the world is pinned on their shoulders. These extremes can manifest in various ways, feeling euphoric one day and utterly defeated the next. It can be confusing and isolating. Yet, understanding the patterns and triggers that gives us our first foothold in reclaiming our emotional well-being. It's important to remember that bipolar disorder is a managed condition. With the right treatment, therapies, and support, you can build routines and strategies that reduce overwhelming feeling. And if you're just joining me on this journey, know that you're not alone. I've been here a ton of times. So let's get personal. I like to share just one moment where I felt overwhelmed, but it seems like that happens almost every day like that for me. Some days are better than others, like when I take my ADHD meds and my anxiety meds and I don't get racy heart or feel jittery. Other days I feel so pressured by school and everything that comes with the kids, and then trying to maintain a healthy relationship, not just with my partner, but with other people around me. I have a really bad issue or hard time making relationships and then maintaining them. I get lost in thought and then that I'm letting everyone down, which only deepens the feeling of despair. It's a vicious spiral that takes you down roads that you know you should avoid, but you just can't seem to turn off of. And I'm sure this feeling happens to people who don't have mental illness as well. But I think for us, it's on a heightened level that cripples us to a point of exhaustion where it almost hurts to even move. It's an uncomfortable feeling that I know all too well. So what can you do if bipolar disorder makes everyday life seem unbearably overwhelming? Well, structured routine. We already kind of talked about that. Structure can be life-saving. Create a daily schedule that indicates time for work, self-care, and rest. Even when your mind is restless, having expectations can provide that much-needed anchor. I found that a blend of scheduling work tasks and self-care rituals help maintain balance even on the most turbulent days. Mindfulness and meditation. I have a love-hate relationship with this because sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But it can help. Um, when anxiety peaks, mindfulness practices have a way of forcing you into the present moment, distracting you from the future worries or the past regrets. It might sound simplistic, but even 5 minutes of focused breathing can set the tone for your day. One of my favorite exercises is to sit still, close my eyes, and count my breaths. This practice, repeatedly reinforced, can bring a surprising sense of calm. It can. Um, some days it's just a little too hard. You really have to focus, and it's just those 5 minutes just isn't going to cut it. And sometimes, like, you're trying to go longer, and it just makes it worse. So, the whole point of that, I think, is to just get out of it what you get out of it. Um, so journaling. This is a big one for me again because I have probably one, two, three, four, five. I have like six or seven different journals. All of them at least probably half full or with at least like the first 2 or 3 pages filled out because I like to collect journals. Apparently, I'll I'll get into writing in one and then I'll fall out of the habit of doing it and then put it down somewhere on my bookshelf somewhere, and then I'll see another journal that I really like and I'm, oh, another journal, I'm going to really get into it, and then I do the same thing over and over and over and over. So writing down your thoughts can help you keep track of your mood cycles over time. You might notice patterns, identifying triggers or situations which tend to precede an overwhelming episode. I personally keep a journal, like I just said. I have tons of them. I need to get better about it, but I do try to keep one. It's an honest space where I can let my thoughts flow without judgment. I will tell you one of my biggest things, my favorite things, is called a bullet journal. If you don't know what that is, you can look it up on bulletjournal.com. Can't remember his first name, but Ryder is his last name. And anyway, he kind of came up with this system. And I'm not going to get into the actual system of it because you just kind of don't need to know that part right now. But what is important is that within it, you can design your own pages where you can make like a habit tracker. Or for me, I made a sleep tracker because I have a hard time sleeping. Even when I'm not in a manic phase, I just have a hard time sleeping. I run off 2 or 3 hours of sleep pretty much every night. But in that tracker, I would have like my ultimate goal was 8. My attainable goal was 6. So anything from 6 to 8, I color coded it. So anything from 6 to 8 was green. Anything from 4 to 7 was orange, and then anything from 1 to 3 was red. And then so I would fill out the month, and then so let's say I had a full like a red night, where it was only like 2 hours a night, or that night. I can look back at that day and say, what did I do that day? Why was that day so stressful? And why did I only sleep 2 hours? And then the next day I can, next time it's 6 hours, like, okay, well, what did I do positive that day? What did I do that day that helped me fall asleep and sleep easier? So bullet journaling is something that I really recommend. It's not for everybody, and I will warn you about the dangers of bullet journaling. Everybody wants to make their bullet journals like super pretty and really whatever. Just keep it simple. Just make it work for you. If you like it, pretty and frou-frou, then have at it. But as long as it works for you, that's all that really matters. Seeking support. Consider joining a support group or turning to a trusted mental health professional. Online group supports, such as those facilitated through the Depression and Bipolar Support Alliance, or DBSA, or community meetups, have provided invaluable support for many. They're filled up with people who are not only experienced in what you go through, but who also share insights on what has happened to them, helped them navigate these unsteady waters. I'll say that I don't think that there's any meetup groups in my area, so maybe some of these online resources will work. I don't know. I know that through the VA, I have a great support system through the mental health side, so I'm pretty taken care of on that side. It's just a matter of managing my symptoms at this point. um, education and crisis resources. Understanding bipolar helps transform chaos into actionable insights. Look into resources provided by institutions such as National Institute of Mental Health or the National Alliance on Mental Health Illness. If you've ever felt that you're in immediate danger or your feeling of being overwhelmed reaches a crisis level, don't hesitate to call a trusted help hotline or seek immediate help. There are lifelines when anxiety becomes too powerful. I'll always say 911. If you don't know the hotline numbers, you can't remember them, 911, 911, 911. If you're in immediate danger or you feel like you're in immediate danger to someone else, call 911. It's just the simplest and safest thing to do. So bipolar feeling overwhelmed might often seem like an unending tussle with your own mind. Yet every day carries the potential for improvement, whether it's through a structured routine, mindfulness practice, or leaning on those who understand. Every positive step becomes the building block of a healthier, more balanced you. And as I wrap up this episode, I want you to know that it's okay to have difficult days. Growth is not measured slowly by moments of clarity, but also by the small battles that fought against overwhelming tides. Life is multifaceted. Allow yourself the kind of patience you'd offer someone you deeply care about. Thank you for spending this time with me as I shared my thoughts and experiences. If you have any part of today's discussion, if any part of today's discussion resonated with you, please consider exploring some of the resources mentioned, and know that professional help and community support are here for you if you need it. Before we sign off, I'd like to mention that if you're inspired to learn more, check out these resources. The Depression and Bipolar Support Alliance offers community support and information. The National Institute of Mental Health provides in-depth research guidance on managing bipolar, or the National Alliance on Mental Health Illness, which connects you with local support systems and offers advice on mental health management. Remember, every person's journey is unique. Share your thoughts with someone you trust, or leave a comment on our podcast page. Let's continue this conversation and help each other find steadier ground. Until next time, stay kind to yourself and take gentle steps forward. And remember, you don't have to sit in the dark alone.